Welcome to the Paint Couture YouTube channel. I'm Erin, owner of the Fox's Den. This week I am bringing you a tutorial on how to complete this faux marble top. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page in order to catch all the tutorials every week. You don't want to miss out. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to be giving this coffee table a faux marble top. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a nice clean, get it all prepped and ready to paint. And I am coming back in with 2 coats of the color Farmhouse Linen. This is from Paint Couture's Chalk Style line. You want to let this dry thoroughly before moving on to your next step. For our next step, I'm using the color Peace. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it, and I'm coming in with a loofah. This is a loofah sponge. I'm going to offload some of the paint because there was a lot on there. And I'm going to start dabbing it on and just make kind of a fun little pattern all over the top of this piece. Before this dries, I'm going to spray it with my misting bottle with water. And I'm going to dab at it. You can use a paper towel. I like to use shop rags or old t-shirts, but you can use a paper towel. You're just going to keep spraying and dabbing until you remove the level of paint that you would like. This does come down to personal preference. You can leave it as mottled as you would like. So you're going to repeat this process all across the top. The first step of the process is finished. We're going to let this completely dry. Once that's done and dry, I'm coming back with Paint Couture's Lux Metallic in the color Bronze. I did look up some images to try to get an idea of how I wanted my veining to look. You're going to brush it on with a small detail brush. And once it's brushed on, while it's still wet, you come back with your finger and use it to dab and pat, and it's going to smoke out that line and make it more natural and soft. Here it is mostly done. I did add a couple more veins after this piece of video was taken, but we're going to come in now with Venetian Bronze Lux Metallic. I'm using a toothpick so I can add just the tiniest amount. However, on this very first vein, it ended up being too much. Even with just using the toothpick, I dabbed and I realized, oh wow, that's really heavy. So, but an easy fix. I'm going to come back in with my misting bottle. I'm going to spray it and I'm going to dab with my shop rag or paper towel, and that's going to remove a lot of that darkness. And it is an easy fix. So if you try this and that happens, don't stress. So for my next try, I did make my lines a little smaller, and it was so much easier to blend it out with my finger. And I did still spray with my misting bottle and dab just to remove some of it and make it look softer and a lot more natural. I did still think that that first line was too heavy, and luckily I didn't let it dry yet, so I went back and removed quite a bit of it. And make sure when you're doing this, you don't forget to wrap around to the side of your piece to get those edges and to tie them in. I'm also adding in some Lux Metallic and Antique Gold. I just wanted the tiniest little pops of gold, just a little bit, not a lot, just some little spots where you'd have some really beautiful metallic shine. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be straight. We are emulating natural stone, and natural stone's not perfect. The beauty is in the imperfections. So throughout the rest of this top, you'll see me adding in, going back and forth between the Venetian bronze and the antique gold. I tend to add the Venetian bronze on the thicker parts of the lines. I feel like it creates a more natural look. Here's a nice close-up of the veining process, adding in a little bit of the gold, a little bit of the Venetian bronze, just adding the tiniest little hints of color there. Once the veining is all dry, I'm coming in and doing 2 coats of Extreme Guard top coat in satin. I'm starting with satin first, and we'll be coming back with gloss in just a little bit. This top coat is super easy to work with. It creates a great protective shell on your piece of furniture. I apply it, do long, even strokes just to make sure it's nice and smooth. Once that satin top coat was all the way dry, I'm coming back in with top coat in gloss. This is going to give us that higher shine and give us more of a natural stone look. I decided to do this instead of resin because since I do repaint my furniture so regularly, I wanted to make sure I could more easily strip this top down when I decide to. For this gloss top coat, sometimes I'll pour it on from a little cup and just wipe it with my brush, just smooth it out. I feel like this helps contribute to a really smooth finish for me. Once that gloss top coat is all the way dry, I'm coming back in with a 400 grit sanding sponge. I'm just going to smooth out any brush strokes, make sure it's nice and smooth. This is going to help with the shine as well. Once I'm done sanding everywhere and I'm happy with that, I'm going to use my misting bottle, paper towel, clean off any dust. Make sure you clean off any dust in between coats. And this is my last and final coat. This is the clear coat again in gloss. We're going to apply that, make sure it's nice and smooth, and let it dry. And there we go. That wraps up our foam marble top. I hope you've enjoyed this process. I'm happy with how the veining turned out, and I'm really happy with the shine on it as well. I feel it gives it a very natural look. Comment and let us know how you like it. Make sure you follow and subscribe to the page to see all the awesome tutorials from everybody on Paint Couture's creative team. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and we can't wait to see you next week. Okay, thanks.